So, obviously, this book is The Darkness Within Saga, Book 1, The Legacy, by J.D. Franx. Obviously, it's on the screen right now, so you guys can see it. What were my first opinions of this book? Let's say, like, we're not going to break it down too much. I will probably later on in the series, like, break it down to, like, plots, characters, and stuff like that. But I'll just talk about the book today. So, what did I think about this book? It was hard to judge the book when I first got into it, because when I was first playing, oh my god, I got freaking gas. Sorry. When I first started listening to this book, it was very much really boring. Like, I'd say for the first chapter, maybe 2, it was really boring until you start actually progressing with the archwizard. Yeah, till you start progressing with the thingy. Oh, and by the way, I do see you guys chat. I'm probably not going to be talking about it reacting to chat too much, unless it's regards to the book. While I'm doing these book reviews, just because it's a bit hard to say, like, talk to somebody in chat but then go back into the book. So I probably won't be reacting too much to chat until we do, like, the tier list after this. So yeah, so I didn't like it really until after that. It got into Gideon's part of the book, and it was like starting to flow there, and then it started to get good, talking about like the dark wizards and stuff like this. And I would like to know more about, like, I know that they've showed Orange definitely hasn't read this book. You start to flow into the dark magic, the dark wizards. I really like that. And the first scene was him going into a school. That's the first thing that captured me, was when he went into the school and he was like, "This guy is an elementalist and he's really powerful. Send him off to the elves." Like, and for him training. And that, to me, you just look at that and you think, that's foreshadowing. This guy's coming back later, so we know this guy is coming back later. And then he had the other kid who was unhappy, and he was like, send him to a priesthood and he could become a seer. And it's like, that's important. He's coming back later in the story as well. I mean, it should be pretty obvious. If not this book, like later on in the book series. So I really like that, the way they foreshadowed that, but it was like a really basic foreshadowing. It was very like in your face foreshadowing. So like, I liked it, and it was like, I don't think for the whole book he mentioned them after. So we don't know if they're coming back or not, unless you've read the other books, of course, don't get me wrong. And I will, I'm not going to review the same. Actually, no, I am going to review book 2 next week, because I'm already halfway listened to it. I want that fresh in my mind when I review it. But I think that this, I feel like the writer wrote this when he was younger, and he went back on it and tightened up bits. And the beginning, he couldn't really tighten it up, because because it was so intricate to the whole plot arc. Because like the main character, obviously Kale, do I like him? Do I not like him? I don't know. I'm not sure whether I like him or not, because he very much is like a saint, like pretty much a saint. And I mean, he gets angry, but he doesn't want to kill anybody, he doesn't want to hurt anybody, he doesn't want to do this. Like that's normal to an everyday person, don't get me wrong. But like later in the book, when he's getting tortured for 114 days, and all he has to do is kill one person not to get tortured, like, what? Okay. And I found it was very it was very, what's the right word for it? I'm skipping ahead a little bit here in the story, but the beginning story was a bit like, obviously I like the dimensional travel, where they sent Kel to Earth, like Earth as we know it, and then then it separates the two worlds, if you see what I mean. So I thought it was really good the way they did that. But again, that means that they've foreshadowed that people could go back to Earth. So has the ending of the book already set itself? That Kel becomes a crazy wizard, but somehow they send him back to Earth and he loses all touch with his powers, and then he turns back normal? Is this the foreshadowing we're seeing? Or is he permanently in this place? We don't know. But yeah, like I like that, and I like the way they went to the dimension, and then they got pulled back several years later by the Dark Dead Ugly Sisters. I thought they were an interesting bunch. I didn't like the fact when Kel was captured and they went into his cell, and the woman was like, "Oh, no, you're not bringing me with you." Like, and Kel didn't like step up. Apparently, he is their master, and they want to mold him into whatever they want. And then this woman who's not even the highest of their order just goes, "Oh no, we're gonna keep you here, and we're gonna talk to you." And it's like, wait, what? He's meant to be their like ruler, and like he's like, he didn't step up and go, "No, I want them alive, and they're coming with us, and you can shut the hell up, do what you're told." And then, you know, all you had to do is backhand her. At the end of the day, she weren't gonna say, if let's say if he played along to that part, and he was like, "I'm not killing them. I'm not doing what you tell me to do. You're my servant. I'm not yours." And he backhands her. I mean, she's probably gonna have an orgasm from that because they love pain and torture. But it's very much better, I think. I feel like that would slot in, and then they could have avoided the 114 days torture or whatever they said in the book. And then the whole escaping scenario where there could have been like, he goes to them and he's got to play a double agent part where he's being nice to he like maybe he lets the wizards go, and he's like, "Oh, I'm letting these two go back to your archwizard and tell him you know, the death wizards are rising and there's nothing you can do about it." I mean, probably the undead woman, witchy women would love that. And then he's got to play a double agent, and he sends her back with a secret message saying, "Oh, I'm not evil. Help!" But obviously, you know, Gillian's a fucking chocolate. Gideon is not going to help. He's going to try to kill him, isn't he? So there could be an element of like betrayal, double crossing, and all this. And obviously, Ember and Max is with Gideon at the moment, so they would know exactly where Kel was, and they'd be straight to it. I mean, I know they figure out where he is, and it all kind of moves into one. But I feel like that part of the story didn't make sense to me, personally. I felt like it would have been a very much more cooler thing if he wasn't just completely resisting them and being like, "No," and they were torturing him. If he was like, "No," he went with them, and then it was like, Orange, that's a dude. And he went with them, and you know, they had that whole play out there where he was with obviously the vampire woman. I can't remember her name for the life of me, but he was with her, and she was trying to like monitor him and keep him good, and the witches were like trying to drive him insane, more insane, and like make him more evil and teaching him powers, and he was learning these powers, like. But then, like, something probably would have to happen. Obviously, to become OP. Probably he's still OP anyway, but yeah, going from that fiasco, like the middle section of the book there was a lot of just sitting around. Like, Kel was stuck in like a prison cell for 100 and something days, and then we went and just saw Gideon for a long time, just traveling, going to like the Dragonlands, going to here, there, and everywhere, and it did get a little bit tedious, don't get me wrong. I did like I I do really like the Dark Wizards, and I think they're very misunderstood. Like, I know the crazy woman who was trying to kill everybody. Can't remember her name. But then they go on about her all the time, and I think that there's more behind her story than anybody realizes, personally, because her diary and that, she doesn't sound insane when she's writing, if you know what I mean. I think there's foreshadowing there that she's actually not as insane as you think, and she was trying to stop something, or she was trying to do something. Maybe she was trying to, maybe the dragons were trying to do something, or I don't know. But I feel like that was a really cool part of the book. Like, that they've humanized her. She doesn't seem insane. We don't know. Like, even in the flashback that Gideon has, he gets a flashback. He sees her in the thingy, and she's like a commander looking over this battlefield. But she's not like walking around ranting, raving, going crazy. Like, doesn't sound mad. And then she gets assassinated, obviously, by the assassin. By the way, that assassin whole thing in the book, it's like a side story. It's probably all going to mesh together eventually. But the assassins, when they kill off the woman, why can I not remember the name? I need to write all the names down. Otherwise I just keep forgetting them. And they all have really familiar names, similar names as well. But yeah, the assassin woman, I think she's cool. But I feel like for an Eon age old assassin, she does shit that's really fucking cool, and then she does shit that's really fucking weird. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do like the assassin, but at the same time, it's like it's a big distraction from the main story with the whole underground and assassin thing. Hopefully it clarifies in the next couple of books of what's going on and where's it going to go, and is it going to make any difference to the actual story. Maybe the assassins give support to the Dark Wizard, and there's like a big conflict there. But at the moment, it doesn't seem like there's much, or to me, there's much different. If, let's say, if you took the whole side of the assassins, like, guild out of the book, you would just save 25 pages, but would it make any difference to the main story? I can't see it making any, apart from obviously the woman meeting up, but then all you needed was her getting betrayed, and then she can be like, okay, I'm starting a new life with these guys. And yeah, you can bring it back in like they did with the blood sheets, is that it? I can't remember, the pirates dudes. That she's got foreknowledge of them, which is, it's cool, where she's got the knowledge of that pirate, she's got this like true sight, other things, but is he putting a character in there that is super powerful just to show Gideon is not as powerful as everybody thinks at the start of the book, and somebody there that is like a get out of jail free card whenever he needs something? Like, they're in a dire situation, and he's like, she's got a spell that'll work. Nobody can question this because she's been alive for eons. Like, is she a scapegoat? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the character, but is she a scapegoat? Because like when they're in that forest and she uses that massive entangling root spell, like if she really wanted to, why could she not use that against other people? Why is she going into the guild a scene later and she's just going through the ether? Why isn't she just busting in the front door using that spell, killing everybody, and walking out? How has she used that spell and then said, oh, if she went against 2 assassins, she would come out injured? Like, I don't get it. I guess I just don't know enough about the Assassins Guild, but then I don't think the assassins are trained in magic, so yeah, it's very strange, that one. Like, there are a lot of plot holes in the book, but the book is still really good, don't get me wrong. I do like the book. You know, later on when they escape the Wendy's house of torture, and Kale actually loses his shit. That's probably one of the coolest things in the book. He loses his shit, but he doesn't go crazy. He comes back. Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind of way I see Dark Wizards as like, I think that's the way history has blemished them. Assassin's Guild is sick. Yeah, Orange. Assassin's Guild would be amazing. I love a book with Assassin's Guilds and things like that. I've listened to so many. But I find that when the like evil wizards lose their shit, obviously they're really powerful, and I feel like they've got a bad name just because when they lose their shit, they fuck shit up. You know what I mean? That's a lot of swearing, but you know, they destroy a lot of stuff, and then people are like, oh, he's a dark wizard, he's crazy, he's so dangerous. And it's like, yeah, but he's only dangerous because you've tortured him for 100 and something days, and he's got increased anger. But if you can control that anger, you're okay. And I know at the start of the book they were like, oh, but you've got this person who's 5 years old who's killed their whole family because of the Dark Wizards. But is that their fault, or is that because is that because the Eye or the Wizards group haven't found them early enough and trained them? Like every case of a Dark Wizard that I've seen or heard of so far in the book has been a wizard that has not been trained or not taken to the Eye or not been given any guidance, and they've killed somebody because of through could be an accident. We don't know. Sorry, we don't know. Or they could have been corrupted by the Dark Sisters. You know, that there's not enough historical fact for me to like Dark Wizards are evil. And obviously Kale is a prime example, but Kale's not a prime example because he's too good. Too good. I like when he gets a bit evil. That was good. And obviously their escape through the Dwarven Mountain and the tunnels. I haven't even mentioned the group of people who are camped up in the Dwarven tunnels. I don't know who exactly they are. They didn't really explain it very well. They're like a group of, I wouldn't say cultists. They're more like a group of like their own separate country that I don't really know. They just confuse me. They just don't like magic. They just want to destroy magic, which is cool, which is fair enough. They can't, you know, they can't obviously stop. That they want to They want to win against magic, and they want no magic left, which I understand to an extent. But then it's like, I liked the collars that blocked magic. I would like to know more about them, because it says they go into the neck and they stop the magical flow. But then does that mean the flow of magic runs through your nerve endings? And if so, is it only stopped because you're in pain all the time, so you can't cast a spell? Like, it kind of explained to it. It said that it blocks it, but your magical channels have grown around it to kill. And it's like, is it, or is that just your perspective of things? I don't know. Because if something can block, obviously, a person's magic, why would you not just put that into an arrowhead that when hit shatters into the person's body, and then they've just got that inside their body for life, then they die? You know what I mean? That to me makes sense. Or you wear that as armor, and then as soon as somebody shoots a fireball spell at you, it dissipates because obviously the metal, whatever it is, if it's the mystical material, just destroys the magic. Which I understand that, and they have that in like a lot of books, that they're counter to magic for warriors. Yeah, but as on the screen now, you can see these blades that you find, and I really like these blades. I think they look cool. They look a bit bigger. I thought they were a bit smaller in the book when I first thought about them and I imagined them. I didn't expect them to be like that blade at the bottom there and the top there looked as long as his forearm, where I was expecting them to be like a little bit shorter. But then if I think about it, he does cut a creature in half later on in the book. They would probably have to be that long. And also, there is something booky about these swords, obviously, because Kel's hearing shit in his head. That's foreshadowing as well. Something's going to happen with these blades, and they're going to get awakened. And there's going to be something in these blades, 100%. Either he kills somebody and they awaken, or he gains a level of power and they awaken. One of the two. There's something going to go on with these. I can tell. If it doesn't, that's a missed opportunity. But yeah, I do really like that. I kind of like the fact that everybody loves Kale. He is a ladies' man. My guy is a pimp. But at the same time, like, I understand like where it comes from. The animalistic urges are at the end of the book, where he does the pokey pokey with another woman. But she's a bit she seems to me like she's drawn towards him through different means. Like, she's drawn towards him because he's her savior. He's saved her from slavery. He is, like, you know, her be-all and end-all. So I don't really feel like she loves him. I feel like she more... the right word for it. Not like Stockholm Syndrome where you fall in love with your capturer, obviously. More like she has a hero thing where she looks up to him. And, yeah... But obviously, near the end of the book, is it near the end of the book, or is it book 2? I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, you know, Ember is actually alive, and if those two meet up, and he's got this other woman with him, what's going to happen? Is the writer conveniently going to kill her off, or is there going to be a love triangle, or is she going to take a step back? Which I'd be interested to see. I hope he gets a harem. You know, my man's gone for a lot. Man just deserves just to have two women in his life. Just two women that love him. Especially one that can... Oh, they can both heal him, can't they, now? Because of... Amber has an affinity for magic. Oh, yeah, because she's Fae. Yeah, it does tell you on book 1. Because it tells you when they're in the cave in the Dragonland. So, yeah, everybody knows that she's a Fae creature, or Failing. Which I kind of see. Like, I haven't really gotten into the characters a lot. Like, I've just talked about the story. But characters I like, Gideon. I understand Gideon, but I don't like Gideon. Gideon's daughter is Celise. Same preference. I understand her. I don't like her. They just seem to be they're stuck in, because they're wizards. It even explains because they're wizards, they have like a one-track mind because their minds tracked towards magic. So I don't feel like they have the flexibility to be likable characters for me. I like the assassin woman. You know, she's cool. Ember and Max. I like Max. He's like quite straight talking. He's a bit overprotective. There's something weird about him. He's not like, if he's just an earthling, yeah, fair enough, that's cool. But he has like faster reflexes than a warrior that's been a warrior his whole life, and he's decent with the sword. He's good with like everything. He's like the best freaking marine you've ever seen in your life. And I feel like that's not a thing. I feel like he may have been sent back, especially in the in the start of the book, where he sits by Cal's side and Ember's side when Cal gets shot. And he's like, oh, he stayed by your side even though there were things going on, and his deputies chased down this person and stuff like that. So I feel like he's there. He's there for a reason. I feel like he was sent to watch them. Both of them, maybe, or one of them. And he was like, if Cal ever finds his way back, kill him or stop him. And then he's obviously got to know Cal, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that, because Cal was the most purest person I've ever seen, and he can't be corrupted by this, that, and the other. So I don't know. I don't know if he's there or not. I don't know. I don't feel like he's just an Earthling. Like there's something different about him. And obviously you've got the Northman. I like the Northman. But he's very rigid. You know what I mean? He doesn't doesn't have that flexibility like in his character at the moment. I think he will have, like when he gets to Kel, and like I can't really make up my mind on Gideon Solis and the Northman. I can't remember his name now. Begins with K, I believe. Until they meet up with Kel. Kel, it is Kel, right? Yeah, Kel. And actually talk to him and see what happens then. Because if Gideon decides, oh, I still want to kill him, and so does the Northman, Max is obviously going to try to defend him. So is Ember, and Ember and Max definitely can. Ember's like a freaking failing child. Max even what was it? Bloke even said the Northman, oh, Max is a better swordsman. He's faster than me. But this guy's been a swordsman for his whole life. How is Max faster and quicker and better than you? No offense, like to he's an American Ranger. He's a soldier, but hang on there. Let's compare a man who has fought his whole life with swords in wars and battles, and he trains with a sword daily, and compared to a guy who uses guns. The guy who uses swords, and if they both have swords, the guy with the sword should win, and he should have better muscle structure than Max. But Max has better muscle structure and it's faster than the North guy. So there's something going on there, 100%. If there's not, I think that's just bad writing, personally. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see as the books goes on. But yeah, what else can we cover in this? I think I've covered everything. Character-wise, like, you know, the Dark Sisters, they're bitches. But in all honesty, like, they crazy. The way the book, yeah, I didn't like the way that. So just an overall of the book, I didn't like the way it started. The middle was a bit dragged out, but it was okay because you had like a bit of comedy there, a bit of action. With the Lich, I didn't mention the Lich, but the Lich was crazy. Then you had a couple of side stories. Obviously, you got Gillian and the King and the Princess going missing. Oh, that's freaking stupid jazz. Then you had the, you know, Assassin's Guild and all that jazz. And then you had, like, there was a lot of stuff going on, but the main storyline didn't progress a whole deal. But I guess it did progress a whole deal in when you learn why Kale was suffering so much. Because obviously the more a Death Wizard suffers, the more powerful he gets. So the writer tends to be like, he's just endured 114 days torture. How powerful do you reckon this motherfucker is? I get that. But did we need that? Did we need that? I don't think we needed that. And then obviously the travel through the Dwarven Mines, finding the weapons. I think the weapons are really cool. Don't understand how the weapons called to him though when they were wrapped in dragon scale or dragon skin, which blocks all magic. So wouldn't that block any telepathical things by the swords? And he obviously doesn't know where those swords are. So I feel like that is a bit of a flaw, but I'm willing to overlook it because of how badass they are. And as well, Kale seems to be like an adept swordsman. And I would love to put it down to the affinity of the blades that have an enchantment on them. It helps him fight. But I don't think it's that. It's like Max has taught him. And I feel like with Max's teaching, that's my reason why I think Max is not from the Earth as well. Because he just knows swordplay too well. And he's taught Kale too well. But yeah. Yeah, I like the old escape through the sewers and that, and like introducing new creatures, talking about what happened to the dwarves, and other things. But I don't believe the dwarves are extinct, personally. I think they're either just hiding or somewhere else. And then we've got, obviously, they escape. They go on the ship. He has the dream. Them two do that. Which he didn't wear protection for, so she's probably pregnant. And that's probably going to be like the big reveal later on in the story. Oh, she's pregnant. Wow. Got a death wizard in her stomach. That'll be something for later on in the book, probably. But yeah. That's about covers it. What do I think of the book? Is it good? Yes. Would I read it? Yes. I do like the book. As soon as you get past the first, like, 10... I think I saw a review. It was like, get past the first 10 pages and it's good. By the way, Orange just putting random stuff in my chat right now. But yeah, great book. I can see plot holes, but then, let's be honest, what book hasn't got plot holes? Honestly. Like, it's perfect. If you see it from the outside in, everything's perfect. But if you know, look at it from yourself, it's not. So what would I rate this out of 10? I want to give it a 7. I want to give it a 7 out of 10. Like, it's very hard for me to give 10 out of 10 as a perfect book. Let's say Name of the Wind is probably a very close 10 to me, like a 9.8. There are a few little bits I don't like about it. Game of Thrones as well is one of those ones. It's like a 9, 9.5. But this is good. This is good. It's definitely a 7. It's definitely an enjoyable story with darkness mixed in. And I kind of like that realism mixed in. But yeah. So that's going to be all for this book review. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you're on YouTube, of course, do like, subscribe. And tell me in the comments down below what you think of this book. Like, do you agree with me? Do you reckon I'm chatting bear waffle? Or am I fine? What do you think? But yeah, I'll see you guys, you know, in a bit. Alright, moving on.